Recently, there have been some accusations that Tesla FSD only works on certain roads, or that Tesla's putting extra focus into making it work on those roads, and that it won't work as well other places for other people. I decided to put this to the test by picking a set of random GPS points that I didn't have any involvement in picking, that Tesla's never seen before, just generating random map points on the fly and driving to as many random points as I can before a safety critical intervention was required. Well, I did the entire 95 minutes until I got tired and went home and couldn't find a single safety critical takeover. There was accelerator press at one point, but that was about it. Here's the full uncut video of me dropping random pins on the map for 95 minutes and having Tesla FSD 1243 drive there. It really is getting to the point where it's a Robotaxi-like experience in current cars, available for anybody to try today. Hey everybody, what's up? I got this new app I just built. It's actually open source. You can build it on GitHub yourself. Maybe I'll put it on the App Store or Test Flight or something, but it just generates random points. So lately, some of the FUD has been, oh, FSD's not real. It only just works for certain routes. So we're going to pick a truly random point on the map, just drop some random points on the map and check it out and just see how it does. And I'll share some of my thoughts on everything that's been going on. All right, let's pick a random point here. First one is 801 North Prospect Avenue. Oops. Let me share that with the car. All right, that's about 10 miles away from here. So let's go ahead. So I kind of feel like an insane person these days, honestly, just looking at what FSD is doing. This is for sale. You can go buy it. You can go buy a car like the new Model 3 long-range rear-wheel drive, which starts at $35,000 after the point-of-sale credit. Anyone can just go get a car, and it comes with a 1-month free trial of FSD. And you can just tell it to take you anywhere, somewhere you want to go, a scenic drive, a random point, and it'll just take you there. And people, and the crazy thing is, bulls and bears alike, people who love Tesla and people who hate Tesla alike, they're completely in the dark about what's happening here with the software. That it's starting to be able to handle pretty much anything you could ask it to do without interventions, hands-free. Is it perfect yet? No, of course not. Nobody's ever claimed it's perfect. It requires supervision today still. But you're starting to see a world where supervision isn't required, where most of the drives are handled without me touching anything. So if the drive was handled without me touching the controls at all, that means that if I had not been in the car could have still done that same job by itself. Now, the only reason I'm required to be in the car is because sometimes it can mess up. And it's not yet good enough, not yet reliable enough. It still messes up too often, so we can't let it on the road. So human supervisor needs to be in the car to be able to take over if it messes up, to prevent something bad from happening. But it's messing up less and less. All right, we're trying to make a left turn here. There's no traffic lights, so we kind of have to wait for all the traffic to pass. And it found a spot, very nice. Good assertiveness there, picking up speed as it merges into traffic. So, yeah, I mean, it's starting to not need intervention. And we're only using hardware 3 models, hardware 3 data, a model that can run within hardware 3. Even the hardware 4 cars are running that within emulation mode. We haven't even started to see the power of hardware 4, let alone hardware 5. And the model's already doing this well. Even hardware 3, I don't think we're anywhere close to seeing what the limits of that is. I think that even after we train bigger models that can run on hardware 3, that's going to continue to improve as well. So, I mean, it's just by default now. I almost expect it to work. So as you start to see interventions getting exceedingly rare, you can imagine, okay, if it can do the drive itself almost all the time, why do I need to be paying attention? Out of a preponderance of caution, maybe a 1 in a million event, at some point the humans will probably start introducing more errors into the system than they're stopping. And at that point you just remove them. I mean, think about it this way conceptually. There's a cabin camera inside the car. It's watching whether I'm paying attention to the road. If I look away, or I look at the screen, or I look at my phone, it'll start to beep at me. Now imagine if you just turned that off, right? Comment out that line. I like how it went into the lane that was a little more empty. That's kind of nice. So just turn off the cabin camera. Now, you just add 2 lines to the code, turn off the cabin camera attention monitoring. And then I could get in the back seat and the car would drive me to my destination. And it could do it without intervention. I probably would be completely safe. But there's still a very high chance that a crash could happen relatively in an unacceptably high risk, right? So that's why it's there, just sort of out of a preponderance of caution. But you hear so many people say, oh, it's a fraud, it's not real, they're never going to get it to work. And I don't think they realize it's already quite a Robotaxi-like experience right now. Like, the line between this and Robotaxi is starting to get pretty blurry. And so I think next, as it continues to improve in reliability, they'll start to turn off the cabin camera. First they'll say maybe, okay, if you're in highways on a traffic jam, we'll turn off the cabin camera. So still pay attention to the road, but we're not going to bother you as much. The system's pretty reliable in a traffic jam. Kind of like what Mercedes has. You know, maybe you could even call that level 3 if you want to be sort of generous. It's just really a traffic jam assist feature. But offering a traffic jam assist feature to match Mercedes, I think that could be a good start. Then expanding the speed that you can drive on the highway, driving at higher and higher speeds as you start to get more confident in the software. Then on city streets. And, okay, then you've got a car where, oh wow, a Faraday Future, you don't see those every day. And then you've got a car where it's a self-driving car. You just punch in the address and it'll drive there, right? I mean, how do people not see that that's what this is? Any ordinary car, any ordinary Tesla, I mean, they're all over the place here. It can do this. And then it's just a matter of regulatory approval to allow the car to operate without a driver. But if people are using the software and it's doing drive safely and you have data and you can say, hey, look, you know, people are using this every day, they're driving home, and there's never an intervention. Well, then why wouldn't you allow people to operate it driverlessly? It would actually probably improve a lot of things. Improve traffic, improve utilization of cars, reduce crashes, reduce injuries. And in the meantime, we get to use it. It's not something that we have to wait years and years for. It's here. As it continues to get better, we'll continue to get updates. I can go take a road trip and drive for hours and just let the car handle it. Right, we got a green arrow. It's a lot of craziness with the Tesla stock. You've had this crazy run up of 50% in a month. And today there was I think a 10% pullback if you include the after hours move. Part of it was just generally market sell-off of the Mag 7. But I think that there was also a Bloomberg story that the August 8th Robotaxi event might be pushed out to October, and that may have contributed as well. But, I mean, I was just saying, look, guys, have we learned anything from this? When you look back at January to now, the stock has been pretty much flat. It ended up in the same place over 6 months. How much drama, how much people fighting with each other, yelling at each other, calling for Elon to be fired, did we put up with during that time? And you see people kind of do the same thing again with today's price action. They're just panicking. Oh my God, what's going on? Elon needs to deny it or confirm it. People are so silly sometimes. Just caught up with things that don't really matter. I mean, of course, if they do delay the event, that's going to be disappointing. I was super excited to see the Cybercap. But if they have to have more time to make it great, then we'll just have to accept that. It's a disappointment. But is it a tens of billions of dollars off the value of the company event? Not really. So I think the Cybercab is going to blow everyone away. And there's reason to believe this rally with Tesla is just getting started. It's just crazy to see both bulls and bears alike in denial about what's going on with FSD. They figured out how to make it work. We know how to make a car drive itself. We have real driverless services in the wild. We have a proof of concept that demonstrates that you can drive a car with computer vision on an ordinary Tesla. And compute is increasing. They're bringing on 50,000 new GPUs at Giga Texas. That's going to more than double their compute power before the end of the year. They're training a next-gen model with a 5 times higher parameter count, 5 times larger model. They're scaling up data. They're adding users. It's going to get a lot better from here. And it's already doing almost every drive perfectly. So until people start to actually realize that and accept that, I don't think we've even gotten started. I mean, just try and do the math on FSD as an ADAS system. So if you say that this is going to be something that every car has, that every car uses, and you look at Tesla's fleet of, I think they've got 6.2 million cars now. They essentially have a TAM for FSD, if they were to sell ADAS packages to all those cars, of $48 billion. Now, the licensing opportunity, if you look at the 90 million units sold, and let's say they could license to 10% of those units, 9 million units, and you can charge them a few $1,000s. I mean, not a lot of people have done the math on this because they've kind of written off FSD. It hasn't really been good enough before to get people to buy or subscribe in huge numbers. The free autopilot that they include in the car is so good that that really satisfies most of people's needs. People just want highway driving, and that does fine at highway driving. It's the same basic lane assist they're used to in other cars. That's fine for most people. Most people say, I don't even really want to use it on city streets. But now for the first time, there's a reason to subscribe for $99 a month or add that $8,000 option on your car. And it's the fact that you don't have to touch the wheel anymore. Just sitting in your car and giving it some random point and it just takes you there. It's like slow motion teleportation. It's like magic. And it's really nice. You just sit, you listen to music, you can kind of sing along, watch the road. But it handles all the decisions for you. It handles moving the pedals, stopping for cars. It handles traffic. You won't miss turns. It'll make sure to get in the right lane, get in the turn lane, it won't forget. And if it does, it'll just reroute. So sometimes you want to drive. You're not going to use it all the time, like I do in this video. You're usually switching between driving yourself and then turning it on, and then driving yourself a little bit, turning it on when you don't want to drive, then maybe you do a quick move yourself, then you turn it on. But I'm just trying to demonstrate for people that it can actually do the entire drive on its own, if you ask it to. Even a long drive, an hour's long drive, it can just do it. All right, we got a right turn coming up in a quarter mile. So, I mean, it's been crazy just covering Tesla. I started covering Tesla in 2018, and I bought a Model 3, and I started using autopilot for the first time, and that was really what attracted me to Tesla, was autopilot. And when I got that first Tesla, it could stay within a lane on highways. It couldn't even do it on city streets. It couldn't do a lot of basic things. It couldn't do auto lane change on city streets. So I watched that evolve over time. They added features over the months and years, to the point where by the time I sold the car, it was doing entire drives on its own. That was good, handling the flashing red there. That's been kind of an issue in previous updates. We'll see if these other flashing red lights ahead trip it up. Yeah, I started covering the company. I got a Tesla. I started using autopilot. Eventually started using FSD. And I've never seen so much negativity and hatred towards something. And something so good, something that's just fun, reduces pollution, it's good for the earth, it's super safe. I mean, there's so many good things about Tesla that people love, and just so much hatred. People saying it's a fraud, they're never going to be profitable, it's a scam, Elon Musk is a liar, and it's going to go bankrupt. And I started tweeting about the company, and I said, I don't think they're going to go bankrupt. I think they've really got an amazing product here, a really disruptive product. And of course, now in hindsight, we know that the Model 3 went on to change the industry, and every brand makes electric cars now. But things were very different then. That wasn't really clear that that was going to happen. Most people back then, including the media, they believed that Tesla was going to die. And so, then I started tweeting. I said, I think this is a great car. I love it. Other people seem to love it. I think they've got a hit here. And, then the short sellers started attacking me. They found out who I was. I was posting anonymously. They doxed me. And they started harassing me, calling my employer, calling my parents, trying to get me fired, that type of thing. Blackmailing me, finding information that was something I didn't want my parents to know or others to know, and threatening me, saying, hey, you got to stop, tweeting about this. I mean, it sounds crazy, but this is what actually happened. And they sued me and Elon Musk, engaged in frivolous litigation for, many, many years, and just filed thousands of pages of frivolous documents. And the case was actually dismissed, of course, but then they continued to appeal it. And it just cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you can believe it, in legal fees. Luckily, a lot of people online helped out, which kind of changed my life. But, I mean, just all the negativity you see, it's crazy. And to this day, I still get so much hate. People just saying it's fake, it's not real, you're a liar. Just so angry at me. And it's just so crazy. People are in denial. And not just bears, bulls too. The other day, Meyer, who I've been following since the 2018 days, he's kind of gone Tesla Q a little bit. He says, oh, these videos are all fake. Because Fred had written an article. Oh, FSD's fake. It's only certain routes that work. They only make it work for certain influencers. I mean, this is what the bulls are actually believing, or, the former bulls at least. And, James Catt, he says, you've been lying. You've been exaggerating for years. And he says, Elon has either been lying about FSD or he's been incompetent. And the story explains what's going on because the team is just making the routes work only for him. And, that's why he thinks FSD is about to be solved. So he's either lying or he's incompetent. I'm like, wow. These are guys who've made a lot of money off Elon's hard work, and this is their impression. I mean, what a, to kind of downplay this, to say it's a fraud, it's a scam, it's some type of ripoff. This is an engineering and technical marvel to be able to do this. To be able to move around the city on your own with just cameras. Nobody can do this. Not Waymo, not Cruise, not a Chinese company. Nobody can do this. And not only do the bears not appreciate what's happening here technically, even the bulls don't get it. That's what really blows my mind. And that's what really makes me realize that this is just getting started. I mean, I have published almost 1,000 drives, and I published the raw footage. You don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to listen to what I say. Go look at the drives for yourself. Form your own opinion. You can watch every second. Of course, most of the people who criticize me, they don't actually watch the videos. They say, oh, every drive is perfect. Well, that's not true. Not every drive is perfect. And I post drives. Even when they're not perfect, I talk about some of the issues. Some of the things that need to be improved. And that makes people upset too. But I just record normal drives that I do. Any drive that I do, I'm going anywhere, I'll record it. And most people, they try and choose certain challenging drives for YouTube, right? They want something exciting for YouTube. They don't just do the ordinary drives that they have to do that aren't that challenging. So I think it creates a false impression that issues are probably a lot more common than they are. And of course, there's some natural sort of variation from place to place. But, I mean, the article was just sort of ridiculous. They said, oh, there's, they allege like this conspiracy. Well, the autopilot team is taking a special look at data from Elon and the early access testers. Yeah, well, of course they're looking at special data from Elon and the early access testers. They have an earlier version. Elon's running the alpha build. The early access testers are running the beta build. Of course you'd want to look at the data from cars that are running the latest software. And, the early access testers in Elon, we have this button here that other people don't have. It's the camera button. So we can push this button and it sends that clip over. So people who are kind of more expert FSD testers, not, your ordinary person, they can often identify what issue really needs to be solved or what's unusual, and they can just push that button and the team gets it, or at least theoretically they do. Maybe they don't really look at it. But, I mean, this isn't really news. We've all known about things like Chuck Cook's left turn. Yes, if you make a YouTube video about something like Chuck Cook's left turn, a really challenging scenario, it is probably more likely to get attention, obviously, than some random left turn where there's no Tesla drivers. Nobody denies that. There's no sort of surprise there. But the implication that, it only works on certain routes is just so ridiculous. And, I mean, it's just so sad because you hear one of these stories and you're like, oh, God, this is going to be one of those just nonsense stories that becomes like an urban myth that people are just talking about for years and years. Right? Oh, well, it only works on these certain routes. Just for influencers. It's not just for influencers. It's not just certain routes. It works anywhere. I mean, anyone can go get a car and try it for themselves. Okay, so I think that was our first destination. This build does have this weird issue where it doesn't pull over. If it can't find a spot, it'll just kind of keep driving forever. So that's kind of one weird thing about it. But, let's just let it drive forever. So, the idea that, like, Elon influencers are just driving down this one road. What road is this? That, we're only testing on one road. We drive down all kinds of roads. I use it places I've never been before. I use it anywhere. Sometimes I go really unusual places. Sometimes I travel with it. Okay, I think it's trying to pull over here. It's kind of funny. It tries to pull over close to the pin. So the pin is actually on the other side there. Let me actually just kind of turn it off so you can stop for a second and load up a new pin. So that's kind of a bug where it doesn't pull over. All right. Next address. 2310 East El Segundo Boulevard. Let's see, maybe I can make this a little more interesting. So I want to go like here. All right. This way's faster. All right, let's go. So yeah, it's not like we're just driving down one road and Tesla's just making that one road good. This thing has hundreds of thousands of users. Okay, it can be used more places than any other self-driving system in the world. The intention of this story, this FUD, is to mislead people into thinking the FSD videos are fake. So now it becomes impossible to, in the eyes of people who believe this, ever demonstrate that FSD works, right? Because they'll say, okay, well, you have this video where it's working, but that's because you're a YouTuber, right? So anybody who's on YouTube, well, it only works for YouTubers. And anybody who's not a YouTuber, well, you're never going to see their video on YouTube, right? So it's kind of this argument to not believe what you see. And you don't have to believe what you see online. You can go get a Tesla test drive. You can go borrow a friend's car. You can go buy one. And you can go try it out for yourself on any street. You don't have to believe what you see online. This is a pretty challenging left turn here. There seems to be a lot of traffic. There's not the best visibility. Hopefully it's able to find a gap and get in there. If not, I might have to give it an accelerator pedal push. But yeah, I mean, you know, there's a lot of people testing it in a lot of different places. You got Dirty Tesla testing it in Michigan. You got people like JC making videos in Texas. Me here in San Francisco and Los Angeles making videos. And you can't really fake it, right? You can't just say, okay, well, here's all the people who are going to make YouTube videos. Okay. It started to move a little bit, but then it saw another car. I'm wondering if we're ever going to get a chance, or there's just going to be traffic flowing here forever. Or would we just stay until, you know, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock? Hmm. Come on, come on. You can do it. Well, I mean, if it keeps creeping up, eventually it should make it across, right? Okay, looks all clear now. Better hit the accelerator before more people come. I was obviously way too patient there. Normal person would just take over, hit the accelerator, but I wanted to see if it would make it across or not. I think it got in kind of a weird position there. But anyway, like I was saying, we're not just driving the same route over and over again. We're driving different routes. That's why I made this app, to just drop a random point in a map. So this exact route is a route I've never driven before, right? I couldn't prepare for it. Tesla couldn't prepare for it. It's truly random. And you can find videos on my YouTube channel where I've done real rideshare rides. So the address was not known to me ahead of time. And if they were just optimizing for certain routes, then you would see it perform worse when you just gave it random rideshare addresses, but that didn't happen. The performance was just the same. And then I've tested it on other people's cars, you know, maybe if they're doing something to my car that doesn't apply to other people's cars. Nope, works the same on other people's cars. I've posted videos on my dad's car, my friend's cars. FSD works the same no matter whose car it's running on. So, you know, the shorts are going to claim, oh, it's not real, it's fake, Elon's a liar, this is a fraud. But, I mean, look at it. Do people not see? I feel like a crazy person. It's going to continue to get better and better. This is the worst it'll ever be. I mean, something that's really going to be responsible for most of the earnings power of the company in the near future. And some investors are just hateful towards it and the team. They're just so upset. It's not Robotaxi yet. Well, I mean, it's becoming a Robotaxi. Do you see this? It's becoming a Robotaxi. This is an L4 capable system today. You could send this around and it could just do a drive without a driver, likely, without crashing. I mean, just look at it. If I had not been in the car, would there be any crash? No. I'm only here out of an abundance of caution. The reliability isn't good enough. If I wasn't here, it would eventually make a mistake. It would eventually crash. But the rate of interventions is just falling like a rock. Even from 12.3 to 12.4. I mean, it's very rare to have a safety critical intervention. So it's so nuts to me to make fun of them for not achieving driverless yet when they're making such rapid progress. It's like if Amelia Earhart said, "Hey, I'm gonna fly around the world," and everyone laughed at her. And she got in her plane and she flew from California to Nevada, and people started laughing. They said, "Oh, remember, she thought she could get around the world." And then she passes New York and people are still laughing. England, France, Russia, China. You can see that she's almost circumnavigated the whole world. She's about to make it and people are still laughing. I mean, look. She's there. She's doing it. At some point, you'd probably stop laughing and maybe start reassessing your estimates. But that hasn't seemed to happen. Not only with the bears, but even with the bulls. Even the bulls still don't believe. It's been too many years. They've heard about it for too many years. Yeah, self-driving. But for the first time, there's actually a reason to subscribe. No nag. And I think people will subscribe. And I think they're going to launch it internationally. If you looked at somebody's video, they were in Eastern Europe, I think Moldova or something like that. And they just brought a car and they turned it on in Moldova and it was able to do drives without any intervention. This is very different than Waymo or any other system we've seen before. It just looks at the road and it knows how to drive. So they can launch it in Asia. They can launch it in Europe. They've already received approval for, I think, 10 test units in some area near Shanghai. And they're going to bring it to Europe, maybe Norway, maybe the Netherlands, something like that. Bring it into the EU market, start testing it, start deploying it. Obviously, the regulations are a little slower over there, but they'll adapt as well. This isn't about some years in the future Robotaxi plan. That's just the cherry on top. This is about the fact that you can get a really great car. I mean, look at these new Model 3s. They're phenomenal. They're really affordable. They're great cars. They're safe. They're fast. They're fun to drive. I mean, they're such a blast to drive. And it's got this. It's got this system that can keep you safe. That can, if you are going to hit something, it'll beep at you. It'll tell you to hit the brake. If you don't hit the brake, it'll slam on the brake for you to prevent a crash. If you're drifting out of your lane and somebody's about to hit you, it'll just move the wheel, even when you're driving manually. Put you back in manual mode. Why would you drive anything else? Why would you let your parents drive anything else? Your kids, anyone you love. They've even got these new parental controls they're starting to roll out. So for a kid, you can limit the speed, limit the acceleration, make sure they don't do anything reckless. I mean, these are features that could literally save your loved one's life. So that's what it's about. It's about the product that's available today. People just don't get it. Robotaxi is great. It's rapidly becoming a robotaxi. But what's important is that it's the best self-driving solution you can buy. There is no alternative. What other car am I going to buy that can give me functionality like this? What other option do I have if I want a car that has cutting-edge AI in it that can do an entire drive for me? Your options are Tesla, Tesla, or Tesla. Which model of Tesla do you want? S, 3, X, or Y? That's really your choice if you want a car with these latest AI features. And a car bought today, it's looking increasingly likely that it's going to be driverless. I mean, you've seen this car, all the driving it's been doing. I haven't had any safety critical incidents, any takeover. I had one accelerator press to get it to hurry up. That was about it. This is available today. And there's nothing else like it. Nobody in the world is making money on robotaxis. Not $1 has been made yet. The war to create a new transport system to move people off car ownership, it hasn't even started yet. And it required scalable solutions. Nobody has brought a scalable solution to market. You know where people are making money? They're making money selling cars and selling software features for those cars. This is an actual business that can be real today. Yes, when the software gets good enough, as it inevitably continues to improve. Nice lane change there. Getting out of a lane that's too crowded, I like that. As it inevitably improves, yes, it will be a robotaxi, and that'll change everything. But right now, for the first time with hands-free FSD, which is just rolling out this week, most Tesla owners still don't have it. I mean, this is a major reason to never buy anything else. If you're someone who drives a lot, it's just utterly indispensable, especially here in Southern California. All right, we gotta make a left turn onto Y Street. Really dipping in between a bunch of cars, very nice. Picking up speed now. And we got our left turn in 500 feet. Here's the left turn lane. We got cars coming. We gotta wait for them to pass, then make a left turn. Just look at that. Beautiful. This alone, this software product, the ADAS product, is worth $1 trillion. Just start to do some pencil math. Forget about the auto business, forget about energy, forget about the robots. Just this concept of a piece of ADAS software that can do the entire drive for you while you watch is $1 trillion business. And people just think very linearly. They have a hard time imagining the impact of doubling the compute and doubling the compute again and doubling the compute again, of scaling up data, of training bigger models, of increasing the inference compute that goes into the car, of increasing the number of users who are using the software, speeding up the feedback cycle. All right, we're making a right turn here. Very nice. And we're about 1 minute away from our destination, it looks like. I don't know, it's kind of weird. Something's not right. Oh, maybe the map just didn't update or something? The map in the top right? Or no, maybe, oh, it's just kind of at a different scale than I was expecting. Okay, interesting. 100% ID checks. Uh-oh. Interesting. All right, let me auto park. Cool. All right, let's try another random point. Seven miles away, 19 minutes. Let's go. I mean, it just makes me sad, honestly. I started covering Tesla just because of all the BS I saw in the media. People saying they were going to die. Very few people actually just covering the fact that they made a game-changing product that just makes your life better in so many ways. Having a phone is a key. Being able to remotely precondition it. Being able to have autopilot. Being able to drive as much as you want without having to charge. I mean, it just really came from a place of love. I love the products. Other people love the products. And I mean, FSD, I mean, it's just so clearly something that's changed my life. And other people, you know, they see my videos, they say, hey, thank you. I got this. This has changed my life. It's changed my commute. It's changed my commute. I don't think I could ever go back. And The negativity, the hate, people claiming it's a fraud. Even bulls saying Elon's a liar, Elon's an idiot, he's incompetent, or he's lying. I mean, it's just crazy. Am I nuts? Do people not see what I'm seeing here? What this thing can do? Nobody's ever figured out how to make a computer go walk around the world on its own. Like, I think part of it is people don't really understand software that well. So they don't understand how difficult it is to actually make a computer move around the world on its own. No map. Just looking at the world and figuring out the structure of the world. Imagine I showed you a picture. Could you draw this with a picture or a video? Could you draw all of that? And could you draw it as fast as it's drawing it? Of course not, obviously. You're not a computer. But the level of reliability they've achieved is something nobody thought they would ever achieve. They said you cannot achieve that level of reliability with just computer vision. It'll always just be ADAS. It'll always be something where you have to take over every few minutes. Nobody expected it to get this good. And I think the other thing that people haven't really wrapped their heads around, because we've only gotten one update on 12. We've gotten 12.3. So people really haven't seen what the rate of improvement's really like. I've seen so many people say, well, the rate of interventions hasn't changed. It's actually gotten worse. And then you go, okay, well, what data are you looking at? Oh, I'm looking at random surveys of people who are using FSD 12.3. Okay, well, if you want to measure the progress of Tesla, you need to compare 12.4 to 12.3, or 12.5 or 12.6. You haven't actually seen those yet, right? It's like saying, yeah, you know, the iPhone 15 isn't that much better than the iPhone 12. Oh, well, how did you test? Well, I compared two iPhone 12s. Well, that's not going to tell you anything about the iPhone 15. So, it's just a lot of stupidity. I don't see how this is trading under $300 with this rolling out. And anyone can see it, anyone can try it. So yeah, it's a sad situation just seeing all the hatred. I mean, the bears, you know, they're short. You expect it from them. But very few bulls even believe it. This is going to be material this year. Not next year. Not in 10 years. This year. Watch what happens when it rolls out internationally. They have a $48 billion opportunity in the ADAS market, expanding by about $16 billion a year as they make 2 million cars a year. They're now going to show us a vehicle without a steering wheel or pedals and what their vision for that is. And Tesla doesn't advertise. They don't do PR. They say, look, if people are going to be stupid, let them be stupid. Let them say what they're going to say. And so there's a lot of haters, most of them who have been hurt by the rise of autonomous electric vehicles in some way. Whether it's through their short position, maybe they're in a union, maybe they make gas cars, maybe they service gas cars, maybe they run an auto dealership and they don't like direct-to-consumer sales. Maybe they're liberal, and they don't like Elon's tweets, the coalition of haters grows stronger every day. And they're pushing against something that's the most American-made car, that is the best car in many ways. And they're telling people not to buy something that would actually make their life better, make them safer, make them happier, potentially even save their life. And they're saying don't buy it because of politics. Buy a shittier car. The hatred and irrationality is just crazy. And slowly I think people will wake up. When you see your friend using this, when you get in the car with your friend and you go to lunch with them and you see them just keeping their hands in their lap and the car is doing the entire drive for them, people are going to ask, wow, how are you doing that? And after a brief conversation, they'll probably end up ordering their own Tesla too. I mean, it's so affordable. Anybody can afford FSD. Even if you're a McDonald's fry cook, go to the used market, get a used Model 3 with FSD already prepaid for, and you can start using this technology. And you can get a 2016, 2018 Tesla with hardware 3, and it's going to run the latest and greatest FSD just as well as my brand new Tesla does, or that Tesla over there in front of me does. So nothing like that exists. You can't buy a Waymo. You can't buy a Cruise. Anyone can buy a Tesla. And anyone can try self-driving. You don't have to be in San Francisco or Los Angeles or some major metro area. You can be in... I hate how it just randomly dry wipes the windshield. It's so annoying. What the hell? Fix that. You can be in the middle of Wyoming. You can be in Nebraska. You can be in Colorado. Wherever you are, you can use it. I mean, people don't appreciate it. This is the most advanced self-driving system in the world. What other self-driving system can do the drives that I just showed you? None of them. They all require the area to be pre-mapped out. So just dropping random pins and driving wherever, they cannot do it. They could if it mapped it out, but just by looking at it, just with cameras, that's beyond their capability. The other day, I drove down from San Francisco to Los Angeles, and I turned on FSD, and it took me out of San Francisco, it took me onto the highway, it took me to the charging stop, it did all of the driving for me. 0 safety critical interventions, 0 takeovers. I adjusted the speed up, that was about it. It did the entire 7-hour drive for me. Now, what other self-driving systems can do that? What other self-driving systems can drive you from San Francisco to Los Angeles? There's none. There's only Tesla. And yet, again, even the bulls don't get it. They think, oh, well, Waymo's ahead because it's driverless. Well, I mean, even a Tesla with Smart Summon can be driverless in a parking lot. It's not really about just demonstrating, okay, I can be in this area and operate without a driver if I have an HD map. It's about actually creating something that can replace your car because it can drive you anywhere. And I think what people who sort of believe Waymo will dominate don't get is how difficult it really is to build something that can run without trading wheels. that can just look at the road, that can take you everywhere you want to go, that can be low cost enough to run on a car you own. They don't understand how challenging those essential aspects of self-driving are. It needs to be able to work offline. These are all things you can't say about the other systems. They're all essential for a robotaxi service at scale. And only Tesla can do them. So it's really clear to everyone that in pretty much every metric you can measure, they're number one in self-driving. Number one in revenue. Number one in earnings. Number one in miles traveled. Number one in number of users, number of cars. The fact that they have a driver, I mean, Waymo also has a driver, according to their California data, on 75% of their miles traveled, right? They have a test fleet that's driving much more than their rideshare fleet is actually driving. So, if you say, okay, well, it's not real because there's a human behind the wheel, Waymo also has a human behind the wheel, in most cases. In certain scenarios, when it's pre-mapped and they pick a route that they know they can do, then you can do driverless, and they do driverless extremely well. Zero intervention every time. You're never really going to have a problem with them. But you can buy 4 Teslas that run FSD for the cost of 1 Waymo. And those Teslas can do things that the Waymo can't do. You don't have to worry about wait times. You can just keep it in your garage. It's not a driverless car. It's better. If you told me, hey, you can either have Waymo or you can have a Tesla with FSD, I'd say, oh, Tesla with FSD, easy. Yes, you have to watch it, but you have to watch it less and less. It's getting better and better over time. Meanwhile, the Waymo costs money for every ride. Just 10 Waymo rides is probably a month of FSD, 5 to 10 Waymo rides. And meanwhile, for that same price, for $99, you can get unlimited FSD rides. You can go anywhere you want. Waymo, you can only go certain places. If I chose Waymo instead of FSD, I'd be either driving myself a lot or not be able to go many places. So you pick FSD because it's better. It's lower cost. You can actually have it in your garage. It doesn't require pre-mapping. It doesn't require remote intervention, right? That's the other thing. They sometimes remotely are able to give it a hint. They sometimes have to send people to go pick it up if it gets stuck. People don't talk about this. They just go, oh, okay. It's driverless, Tesla isn't. But it's just getting to a point where you can move the human supervisor being in the car to the human supervisor actually being remote. So people really have no clue that they have the most advanced self-driving system in the world that can do things that no other system can. That is just far, far better from an architectural perspective, from a cost perspective, and nobody realizes it. Bears don't realize it. Bulls don't even get it. All right, we're about 4 minutes away now. Should I do another one after this? I mean, maybe I should just keep dropping random points for hours and hours until I finally have to have a safety critical takeover. Maybe then I could get it through the thick skulls of people who call me liars and who call FSD a fraud, that this is actually a real thing. I mean, do people understand how incredible this is? That I can just talk, that I can carry on a conversation, and the car can handle all the driving to a set of random points I provide, that I've never seen before. All right, we got the left turn arrow here. Very nice. Now we're going to make a right turn onto Palos Verdes Boulevard. And it's such a smooth, comfortable drive. There haven't even been too many awkward moments. Yeah. It's really a mind fuck. FSD doing drive after drive hands-free with zero intervention. And I'm taking my GoPro. I'm recording it so you guys can see what I'm seeing. Because I couldn't believe it myself. And I'm recording it and I'm uploading the video. And people are saying, you lied. You exaggerated. How did I exaggerate? I showed you the video. The full raw video. I didn't cut anything out. We did live drives. We did rideshare drives. We did a drive with machine, had him pick drives. Some people just won't believe it until it hits them in the face. And I guess we're just gonna kind of have to accept that. If you don't want to believe what I'm telling you, your loss. If you want to say that I'm lying or it's all fake or oh, it only works for him, it doesn't work for other people, your loss. You will be caught positioned incorrectly as a technology you couldn't see coming changes the world. Tesla, another Tesla over there. These are all going to be running FSD soon if they aren't already. So up to you. You don't have to believe me. I'm going to put my videos out there. You can analyze them. Take a look for yourself. You don't even have to listen to me. You can mute me. You don't have to read my tweets. You can just watch the video and form your own conclusion. Or better yet, go order a Tesla at tesla.com. Rent one on Turo. Go grab one and go try it in your own neighborhood. Alright, we're actually trying to pull over. That's good. Alright. Let's do another one. Why not? Let's keep going. Alright, this one's just 6 minutes away. So imagine this is a Robotaxi, right? I'm picking people up, I'm dropping people off. Is it really that hard to imagine that the car could one day be driverless? It's already doing everything today. Why can't it be driverless? Why can't the software improve further? Explain to me. All the reasons people have come up with, it doesn't seem to really have been correct. Okay, this looks a little challenging. There's a right turn onto a street where we actually have to make a right. Then there's this kind of side road with houses. But it correctly is going and making a right turn in the right place. Other versions might have struggled with that. Like maybe 10 or 11 even. Alright, now we're going to make a left turn onto Sepulveda Boulevard right up ahead. There's the windshield wipers again. So stupid. All right, we got the left turn arrow. Let's get moving. See, the windshield's kind of like dirtied up from the thing dry wiping. That's what's really annoying. It's funny how the car can, drive so well, but they can't figure out how to make the windshield wipers work. At this rate, they're actually going to solve autonomy and deploy a driverless service before they figure out how to make the windshield wipers work. And even an ex-Tesla AI team member said that actually in a tweet. All right, we're going to make a right turn here. All right, waited for that biker, pretty good. Now it's getting ready to make a left turn up ahead. Really like how it crossed that entire street. Pretty impressive. Okay, good job waiting for the correct left turn lane. This is pretty tough. We got to make a left turn, but there's tons of traffic on Hawthorne Boulevard. So it's going to be tough to wait and find an open space. But I think we may have one coming after this car. And it starts moving ahead of time before the car even passes. Beautiful. Right now we got a right turn onto Madison Street. Alright, we're going to make a left here onto 228th place. And there's our destination. Cool. And it actually pulled over because it saw a spot. So when it sees an open space in the curb, it'll pull over. But when it sees the place is really full, then it'll kind of just drive around in circles forever. So that's not the best. All right, I guess we'll end it there. Thanks for watching, everyone, or maybe we'll do one more. Let's see. I'll do one that's not too far away. All right, this will be the last one. I don't want to just be driving around forever. That's what you need to do to like find a safety critical intervention now. You need to just drive around forever. All right, this one is 3 miles away. It is 9 minutes to get there. They wipe the windshield. And then, yeah, maybe I can turn it off. So, okay. Let's turn on FSD. Then we'll put this on off. All right. And we're getting started here. Got some tractor parked on the street. All right, now we're gonna make a right turn. Very nice. Alright, looks like got a pretty big dip in the road, but it slowed down, which is good. It's getting pretty good at slowing down for dips and bumps in the road. I mean, see, this is what I'm talking about. To get a safety critical intervention, you need to drive around for so long that, I mean, who even wants to be in the car that long, right? Your average person's probably going to do, you know, maybe a 30-minute commute a day, maybe a few 5, 10, 15-minute drives. They're not trying to do rocket science. You can automate most of the drives people need to do, and the level of interventions, the frequency of safety critical disengagements is getting beyond what people are able to perceive. Like, you really have to sit in the car for hours and hours to be able to find the rare scenarios that would cause the system to mess up and you have to take over. So in a way, it's kind of worrying territory. I mean, how are we going to get people to continue to pay attention? I think that's part of why the driver monitoring system has gotten more strict. But I don't think people have wrapped their heads around the fact that for an ordinary person, they're going to feel like it's a robotaxi, a personal robotaxi. They'll get in, they'll ask it to do their drives, and it'll just do them. Maybe today you have a few accelerator presses here and there. New versions are typically more cautious. But even those are going to get rare. There's no asterisks. There's no, oh, it's not really full self-driving. It is getting harder and harder to argue that this isn't full self-driving. I mean, full self-driving has turned out to actually be a perfectly descriptive name for what this software package does. It does the full drive by itself. And you're not just buying FSD supervised. When you pay for FSD, you're getting FSD supervised, but you're also getting all the future updates, including unsupervised FSD. And that's included in the price. So that's why when you're buying the full self-driving package, you're not just buying driver assistance, you're not just buying auto park, you're buying full self-driving. When you buy a car and you buy full self-driving with the car, that car is going to continue to get updated for free as long as it is on the road, even past the point of being driverless. And you may argue, well, they're never going to get there. That's neither here nor there. Whatever they're able to do, you'll get the update. And there's reason to believe they can actually get to the point where they're driverless. I mean, just look at what we're seeing in this video. How long have we been going for? Over an hour? I mean, that's the best argument the bears can think of. In spite of all this incredible progress, doing things no other car can do, they just laugh and they say, well, it's taken too long, it's too hard, it's gonna take a long time. I mean, on one hand, I didn't think we'd really be this advanced today. In some ways, it's much further and much more widespread than I expected. I couldn't imagine there'd be millions of cars that could run this and hundreds of thousands of cars that already are. But if it takes 10 years, what does that change? Will we give up on driverless just because it takes 10 years? No. We still have to do it. Somebody has to do it. And nobody has brought it to the mass market yet. So if it takes 5 years, if it takes 10 years, if it takes 1 year, however long it takes, that's how much time Tesla will spend trying to make it work. And the good news is, you don't actually have to wait 10 years to use it. We can use it today and supervise it and catch any mistakes it makes. And once we can say with certainty that it's not making mistakes, that the reliability is high enough in any given context, in the highways and the city streets, maybe even just in certain cities that have been mapped out or highly tested or something like that, then they'll turn it off. Having used Waymo and their driverless service extensively in San Francisco and Los Angeles, it's really hard to believe that a driverless service is possible until you start using one. Then it starts to become normal pretty fast. First 5 minutes, wow, okay, driverless car. Pretty soon after that, you're just looking at your phone. You're not paying attention. It becomes boring, just something that's happening in the background. All right, there we go. Another zero intervention drive. Should we end there? Should we do one more? Maybe we'll make it around 90 minutes, so then I can say, okay, we did 90 minutes of driving. All right, this one's 4 minutes away, 1.1 miles. Let's go for another drive. So you're seeing the car do drive after drive after drive. Exactly like what a Robotaxi has to do. Random points on a map, any point on a map you can think of. I mean, the way this program works, that's picking the destinations, it literally is just looking at the area that I'm in and just picking a random latitude and longitude and then driving there. So just throw any dart at a map and the system can drive there. All right, here's PCH. We got to make a left. Notice how someone was kind of sticking into the left turn lane, so it deferred getting in. All right, here we got a little bit of a dip in the road. We're going to turn right on half a mile on Camino de las Colinas. The sun has gone down since we've been driving, and we're just continuing to roll along. Whether it's day or it's night, it just works. Pure vision, baby. Yeah, I didn't slam the brakes for a yellow. Okay, that's what I like to see. Very nice. Ooh, very nice getting into that lane. I like it. It's starting to get that quickness back. I like it a lot. This is very exciting. This software is going to be really good as it gets that quickness back. New versions are always more cautious at first. All right, we're going up here. Tesla, and then another Tesla over there. All of these are going to be running FSD. All of these are going to generate hundreds and thousands of dollars of revenue for Tesla as an ADAS service. All right, it pulled over quite nicely again. Okay, that only took a few minutes. All right, fuck it. Let's do another one. Are you guys getting it? Are you seeing what the performance of this thing is? Drive after drive after drive without any intervention. I mean, I guess at some point people just can't really watch the video anymore. Like, People aren't going to spend 2 hours watching this FSD video, so probably most people will have no idea what's actually happening. I think that's the issue. All these people who are like hating on me, Meyer and James Cat, liar! It's fake! You cheated! It's just that one route. They probably don't watch these videos at all. They haven't seen any of this. If they did, then they probably wouldn't be so negative and misinformed. I mean, how do you watch this and call the team that made it an idiot? You have to be an idiot to not understand how exceptional this software is. Do you see any other car that can do this? Any other car that even tries? Is there any car on the market that is attempting to make it driverless? You know, you can hate on them and you can say, hey, Musk's a liar, it's never going to be driverless, that's impossible. But is anyone else even trying? No. And they're not just trying, they're delivering something that people are using every day, that's driven more than 1 billion miles. All right, we're getting back onto PCH. People are so stupid. That's what I've realized covering Tesla. People are very stupid. It's right in front of your face. Anyone can go get a Tesla. Anyone can try this. Both Meyer and James, who called me a liar, said my videos are fake, I'm exaggerating. They don't have Teslas. They haven't used autopilot. They haven't used FSD. They have no ability to assess for themselves what the software is actually doing. If they did, they would know that those stories are BS. Instead, they spread them. They say, oh, this explains it. This explains why Elon was wrong. The team was lying to him. You think Elon's that stupid? That he's not trying at different places? That he's not looking at system-wide data rather than just his own drives? You think the team can just pull a fast one on him? How dumb are people that they believe this stuff? Alright, we're making a right turn. Very nice. Our destination is 0.2 miles ahead. Okay, I think after this one, I really have to stop. Because, like I said, I mean, this is like a feature-length film now. Just me bullshitting and FSD driving around. Like, who's gonna watch this whole video? I guarantee you, not one person is going to watch this video from end to end. So why am I making it? Why do I spend all this time making thousands of videos of this software driving around when people just still say, you're a liar? Oh, you're just saying it because you like Tesla. No, I like Tesla because, whoa, that was unexpected. because they have this. Cool. Well, parked in a handicap spot, which isn't really legal, but all right, I'm gonna wrap it up there. We had 90 minutes driving. I think there was a accelerator press, but other than that, obviously no safety critical interventions in 95 minutes. And it, you can see for yourself how it did. So wake up, people. They did it. They're doing it. They're continuing to release updates. It's like a Robotaxi. You don't believe me? Fine, go buy one. Go start using it. Go rent one on Turo. See for yourself. It's not fake. It's not just one route. It's generalized fucking autonomy. And no one is further ahead in rolling out a global, generalized self-driving service than Tesla is. I mean, the software is just one piece. You need manufacturing, you need charging, you need service. Anyway, take care, everyone.